Hello and welcome to Wickedly Spooky with Dark Explorers Paranormal. I'm your host, Spooki Brit Andy. I'm still getting used to that nickname. Joined tonight by Spooki Girl, and we
Hi.
will be joined a little bit later on by Spooki Boi. He's just taking a phone call right now. So
Yep.
how's your day been? Pretty
It's
good, right?
been good. Crazy. How was your day?
Yeah, same. Crazy work, you know.
I understand that.
So tonight's topic is going to be clairsentience
Hmm.
and basically empathy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to start off and start
Yeah.
the ball rolling?
Yeah. So, just to recap from like last time, so both John and I and you have different abilities. So you, I, and John all identify also with having what they call clairsentience or empathy. Everybody has this ability. It just varies on a lot of different levels, from like how high it's going to be, to how low. Like some people get that spidey sense of like, I know something bad's going to happen. Or some people get it so extreme, like you, where you know when something's standing right next to you.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
fun.
it's like the ultimate all knowing, I guess. Some people are born with it, which is super cool. And then some people like train themselves a lot over time to see what they're going to come up with. Some people never achieve like a super high level of it. Some people only achieve a low level of it. It's pretty crazy. But I mean, there's so much to this ability that I think is kind of misconstrued. I mean, do you want to talk about like what you can feel and stuff?
Oh, so for me, I don't know if it's exactly. Sorry, 9 o'clock.
Oh, you're
It's 2 minutes slow.
good.
For me, I'm not sure if it's. Well, I guess it is. It's some clairsentience, I guess, in a way.
Mhm.
But like you said, I mean, so for me, personally, I could tell when if we go somewhere, you can tell when you're overstayed your welcome because
Mhm.
empathy works more than one way. It just doesn't work with spirits. It can also
Right.
work with the living,
Mhm.
and I hate having that because I can always tell when someone's pissed off, when they're in a bad mood. Um, I can always tell when they're upset with me, even though they'll turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I'm not upset with you. I'm good. I'm good." You know, deep down that there's something wrong. You know what I mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
having that I'm gonna call it empathic
Mhm.
side of me. Um, I'm I don't like it that much because just like I said, I can definitely tell what people is thinking,
Yeah.
how they feel towards me, and I just don't like that feeling. I'd rather not
Yeah, and
know,
right.
to be honest with
So,
you.
sometimes you just wish you could just shut it off and be like, I don't want to know these things that I know
Right.
now.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, basically like we said, clairsentience is the all-knowing. It's the feeling, it's the spidey senses. Um, some people will identify it like even in like dreams. Like they get that ultimate like feeling and then they wake up super sick and it's somebody that they know is really sick. For me personally, I usually know a couple days ahead of time, like before something's gonna happen. Like I get this really bad I have bad anxiety anyway, but I get super sick to my stomach.
Oh
And
wow.
it's the worst feeling in the world because you don't know if it's coming from somebody else or if it's you.
Right.
So just sitting there and trying to deal with it is really difficult because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's either me or I'm getting sick. So I don't know. And it for me it sucks. I know for John, like John has that thing where he knows some of how somebody's feeling like the second he walks into a room. Like you can't hide anything from that dude, and he just knows. It's
Yeah.
uh, it's crazy. How did you discover that you had? I guess how high your empathic levels were. Like, what's the first thing that you remember?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I would consider him my eye. I just, it's not something I really. Oh, how do I put it? It's not something I've really studied on.
Yeah.
What I've studied on is the communication or trying to communicate from beyond the spirits. But I
Hmm.
know I've got a pretty sensitive, empathic side to me.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact. I mean, we had a situation. I won't go or tell the situation we went through, but I told Amanda something was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened the way I said it was going to happen, and
Oh my gosh.
it involved the family, and
No.
exactly as I said, what was going to happen on more than one thing. By the way, it was two different things, and I told her what was happening, and she's like, "No, don't be stupid, don't be stupid," and literally, we found out two different things within a matter of like 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
So you can tell what's going off before people tell you what's going off,
Yeah.
and that is what is really like frustrating about it.
Upsetting.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty empathic.
Yeah, so for me, like I never knew what this feeling was when I was a kid. Like I don't think it's something that people share very well because at least when I grew up, like we were taught to never like talk about our emotions. So I was a kid that had severe anxiety to the point that like I saw two therapists and I was only in the first grade. I didn't understand like why I constantly felt sick or why I wanted to cry all the time. Like nobody wanted to talk about it. So as I got older and I just started noticing like things were going to happen in synchrony with certain things. And like I would just say something out of the blue and then it was like, boom, like here it is.
Right.
And I think, I don't know, like this is such a tricky topic because there's so many things that can go into clairsentience. But I feel like it's very difficult to develop this sense just because you can't develop like your knowing. It's kind of like cold reading.
Right.
You can kind of predetermine what you know is going to happen based on the information around you and make an educated guess. But there's not a way to teach yourself to know ahead of time.
Right.
That
I'm
makes
with
sense.
you on that one. Like I taught myself the medium side of things to
Mm.
myself.
Yeah.
Um, I actually went to a spiritualist church back home in England to own my skills. And don't get me wrong, because I've been away from England for so long, I've sort of gone backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Because I took a semester, or is it called a semester? Not semester, or a
Like of
break.
college?
Like I took a break when I go over here because
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
we live in Texas, right? So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
people are gonna think I'm fucking crazy. Excuse me, I did forget to mention this is 18 plus. Um, so I just kind of took like a gap. It was like 2 or maybe 3 years before I even started getting involved in the paranormal field again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, just because we live in Texas, I took that break and I've kind of unfortunately lost some of the skills that I had learned when I was back home in England, which are
Yeah.
steadily coming back. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's good.
The
Yeah.
more I do this, the more the stuff is coming back. So yeah, like you said, on the empathy side of things, there is no training that you can take that can
Right.
help control that.
Right.
There just isn't
Yeah.
any amount of training.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody discovers it at a different time. And I think, and some people might find this a little offensive, but I find it very misconstrued when everybody's like, oh, I have an ability. Look, there's the man of the hour.
Hey, Spooki
Hi.
Boi!
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome, Spooki Boi,
Hello.
So
aka
we're
John John.
so we're kind of talking about how we discovered our abilities and how you can't really train for clairsentience because there's so many things that go into it.
Okay.
Cho thoughts?
Yeah, keep going because I'm trying to connect my.
Oh.
So no,
Okay.
I like I said, that's something that it gets. The older you get, the more you seem to be able to own it.
Oh yeah,
Does that make
absolutely.
sense?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
and
don't
I'm
know if you would class this as clairsentience, but bear in mind, my mum lives almost 5,000 miles away. I think it's
mhm,
like 4,900 miles or something like that. And I can always tell when she's having like a rough day because
mhm.
I'll call and say, hey, what's been going off with like your wrist? Take some bloody pain medicine because I'm waking up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and it turns out she's got that same pain wrist.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's clairsentience or what, but we're really connected, me and my mum.
I would consider that, yeah, because I mean,
Right.
because clairsentience, I mean, empathy itself is emotion. So if you're emotionally feeling that she's in pain, I mean, yeah, I would definitely consider that. I have that about one of my best friends, actually. She has dreams and knows when things are happening with us. And so she doesn't ever tell us, but when we go to send her a message or tell her that this is what's going on, she's like, I already knew. I was just waiting for you to tell me. Every time. Never fails.
That's crazy.
All right,
That's
I'm good, guys.
absolutely crazy. Hey, welcome back, JOHN.JOHN.
What's up?
Spooki Boi. You got your announcer voice going on with them headsets on. Jesus.
Sounds like you're right.
Hey, I do have a question I'd like for you to answer real quick. Let me just share it real quick.
What about ancestors coming to you in your sleep? Oh, your light shut off.
No, it's not.
Well, that could be something to do with one of the new items you just got.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm not mentioning it. I'm not mentioning it yet, but I already know because I'm looking at the show notes.
Okay, Del. What about ancestors coming to you in your dreams? John, you want to answer that?
Ancestors coming to you in your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put too much interest in that, simply because dreams are just already hard to just code out. I mean, you may think it's one thing, but then it's a completely other thing or a different type of meaning. I mean, we both had dreams that were just like, what in the world was I dreaming about? You know, I mean, even the one right before your birthday, that one that I had, that was just like way out there.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I wouldn't, maybe it's something that's going on personal that you're thinking it's maybe your ancestors or something like that, because it's closely, how do you say, well, they come as familiars to you. So whatever you're familiar with, it's easier to approach you with their facials or, you know, how their energy is, because you're familiar with it. So I would sounds like I'm in a tunnel.
Yeah, it might just be settings on StreamYard. Just put your mic through your regular mic.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna get rid of it because it just sucks.
Okay.
I can barely hear you guys anyway, so continue on.
Okay, so allegedly we have a psychologist on the team. Someone just asked, who is the psychologist on the team? That's news to me.
Well, I'm not a psychologist, but I have a psychology background.
Oh, okay.
That's different. Yeah, that's totally different.
Okay.
Psychologists have a PhD and a specialty. What I have is a psychology background where I have taken multiple classes to earn a degree in the field of psychology. But I have chemical dependency specialization background. So I focus on people that have drug addictions.
Okay. Yeah, because that was from Raoul Porter.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. Nobody here has a PhD, but we take classes.
There is no psychologist, but we've got some. Well, you've got some training in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got you. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Is it okay? Like he's trying to say his name.
Well,
like Raoul.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's R-A-U-D. How is that Raoul?
How would you say that in British talk, Andy?
Raoul.
Raoul.
But that's not how it's spelled on his Facebook thing, so he needs to change his Facebook. It's not spelled Raoul. I know how to fucking say Raoul. That's R-A-U-D, not R-A-U-L.
Well.
Anyway, moving on. What the fuck? All right.
We can't hear you at all, babe. You're muted. Unmute thyself.
John, we got you.
There you go. Okay. So the question that you guys asked me before I was messing with my headphones, what was it?
It was. Hang on, I'll find it.
Was it the clarities? No, the abilities, clarities, the clarities.
Oh yeah.
What was the question?
So we were talking about how you discovered that you had clairsentience, and also the fact that it's difficult for people to actually be able to train clairsentience because it's more or less something that you're given with, and if you try to train it, then it's considered to be like cold reading.
Yeah. When I first actually found out that I was a clairsentient is when I went to Tombstone and was doing investigations out there. It was kind of weird because we were getting a tour of a store that was next door to the Birdcage Theater, and it was like a small group of us. And this lady just out of nowhere just points at me and she's like, "You're special." And I was like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" So then she's like, "You got to come talk to me. You got to come talk to me." So I was like, "All right." Went up to the front and she was like, "Do you feel this? Do you feel that?" No, 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 no. And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And she was like, "You know what? Do me a favor. So after your guys' investigation tonight, I want you to look up these things, which is the 5 clairs." She's like, "If any of these hit you, I want you to come back to me tomorrow and let's talk about it." And I was like, "Okay." Went back the next day and I was like, "Yeah, everything that you told me to look up, everything matches with me." And she pretty much like gave me like a paranormal 101 right then and there on abilities. It was like, "Do you see this? Can you feel this?" And then she was holding up her hands like this and was just like pushing her energy on me, and I could feel like the energy coming off my hands with her, so that was like literally the first time I ever felt anything like that. So once I got home, it was like game on for me. I was like, I'm gonna research this, I'm gonna do all that stuff and figure this out. Mind you, there was some cases and stuff like that where I was just, oh shit, overwhelmed because I was still trying to figure things out, and I was big time into like letting just things channel through me, and sometimes I would pay the price for that, and but it got to the point to where I started learning how to ground myself, whether it be barefoot on the grass, putting my fingers in the dirt, putting my hands on the trees, anything like that to exchange those type of energies is when I actually started learning to calm down. Then I found out too that working out and all that other stuff, doing something that you really enjoy to take out that negative energy from whatever you took on, it made it just simply just help me in many ways. So now I'm kind of like nothing really bothers me, but there's a few things that occasionally will pop its head out.
I think this is an interesting one. I don't know how you want to go about answering it. I wouldn't even know how to answer that one.
I was thinking of a relative on Saturday, so kids and I talked about him. Then I found out he died the same time we were talking about him. It really bothers me because I never really think about him ever. Not really close, but now I feel like I should have done more. God was trying to tell me something.
Yeah, I mean, those little types of inner voices that you hear, those just instinctual gut feelings. I mean, I would just say pay attention to those a lot. They're there for a reason, and they're cueing you for a reason. I mean, sense of danger, some family who needs help or anything like that. So I mean, Robin, I would just pay attention to those. If you have to, get a book, journal, and just start writing stuff down. I mean, I think we probably had that conversation before with you, but I would do that, so that way it's easier for you to clarify everything that's coming to you, even if it is, that bad. And our condolences to you and your family.
Totally agree
I was
with that one.
wondering about that Vanilla page. I had psychologist and outreach. I was really interested. Okay, so to answer your question, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, because it's going to be wrong no matter what way I say it. Yeah, Mr. Porter. There we go. So we do have other psychologists that we do contact, and they all vary in different fields. So we have some that specialize in family education and family therapy. And then we have some that specialize in parapsychology as well. They're vastly different fields from the other. Because of the cases that we take on, we tend to lean more towards like a family psychology side more. And then we have some people that just need like a parapsychology explanation. In parapsychology, you get all into brain waves and EMF and everything else. So it kind of depends on where you really want to focus it at. I've talked to a lot of people that are interested in psychology and how it relates to paranormal. It's just not a very broadly studied topic, unfortunately. There's only 2 centers in between the United States and Canada that actually study it. So it makes it very difficult to have factual evidence and research that somebody can base a degree off of. Parapsychology is not a recognized degree in most places now, because it's just still such a broad area. But if you're interested in it, I highly suggest doing like a general psychology degree, or even going to your local college and taking up a couple of classes. Abnormal psychology class is a great way to understand more about kind of the stuff that paranormal people do versus how the brain works with it. It's just the whole thing. So, yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so let's move on. So, I mean, sorry, I'm coming in late. So, have you guys discussed on how does it affect us, the abilities?
Yeah, we did.
Dang it,
man. No, not Google University. No, we haven't. Psychological. Are you talking about like the psychological issues and stuff?
Oh, that side of things, yeah. We ain't. I mean, I don't have a psychological problem with it, but
no, I just mean, how does it affect us? Different levels. What happens if you don't?
Oh no, we haven't talked about that yet.
Okay.
Well, we kind of have.
I think we kind of did. Yeah, we kind of did. We glossed over that a little bit.
How does it affect you, Senor Spooky Boi?
It doesn't. No, it does. It does in little ways. It does by the people that are around me. So the people that I care about more tend to get a little bit more of the blast than I will, simply because I don't allow things to really come in that close to me. So they kind of find it easier ways to go around me and just cause chaos around the people that are around me that don't know how to protect themselves or protect themselves properly or anything like that. So they know their avenue is to go through that way. Now Jordyn knows me and Andy don't really know me too well on that part, but it's almost like if these things try to poke at me, they know that I will simply like really pull back, and I have like zero tolerance for that. So, yeah.
Yay.
That was Are you guys just gonna read messages?
No, not at all.
Sorry, kind of.
Yeah, no, we're good.
No, but I guess we can just continue down on what happens if you don't learn. Oh yeah, so I mean, forgive me if you guys already talked about this, but what happens if we don't control our abilities? Have you guys discussed that part yet? No,
we have not actually.
Okay, so a lot of our cases are simply because there's a lot of people out there who, I mean, if you ask me, everybody has an ability. Everybody has abilities. It's just now that everything with day and age, it's become more normal than most. So everybody can sense stuff, all this other stuff, but now it's just so broad out there that everybody's like, oh, I have abilities. Well, yeah, everybody has abilities. That's the whole point of the senses, you have abilities. But the problem is, and it's always usually, I don't want to say people my age, but people who are like in their 30s to like mid 40s, I'll say in there, because we were never brought up with how normal paranormal is and how witchcraft was and all that other stuff, and just in general of how this works. It's a little bit harder for us because they always say, nah, you're just crazy. You're just this. You're just that. Why don't you go back to your room or go do something? So we never had that avenue to really just go out and talk like how this is going. There's everybody that you would say, yeah, I like ghosts back then. They'd be like, dude, you're just nuts. You're this, you're that. So in return, as we got older and people who are very sensitive turn to other things to really calm it down, and a majority of it is, it's either alcohol, it's drugs, it's something totally different. So that way they can calm all that stuff down, all that sensitivity down. which is why we see a spike on the cases that we work with people who actually are very sensitive as opposed to like abilities. We just are more sensitive than most, so once they know that they can talk to us, once they know that there's a safe place there for them to reach out, I mean, they all get better. But sometimes, and I do hate to say this, but sometimes it's just a little too late. And they've reached that point to where it's just, man, they cause so much damage already in their own life. Like, I don't know if they would ever turn it around, but the thing is that we were there to actually help them out when we could, so that is a big thing. Jordyn?
I just go smoke a fag when it gets on top of me.
Mm-hmm.
Cigarette in American.
I got you.
That's me. You know me.
Mm-hmm.
When I've had enough, I'll go outside. I'll stand on some grass and I'll sit there and smoke a fag. I'm good.
Like,
That's how I take care of it when it gets too much for me.
Like, I'll be back.
That's exactly how I take care of it when it gets too much for me.
Gotcha.
For sure.
All right, so what's next? What is that? Photo Junior Plus. The example of.
That was, we were supposed to apply a photo and I forgot, and I think you forgot too.
Okay, my bad. So you want to talk about it anyways?
Yeah, we can talk about that. I think it's fun. So a couple months ago now, we went and did a case here in Central Texas. And the whole reason we want to talk about this case is how it relates to clairsentience so hard. I just find it really crazy. Sorry, that was ironic.
I know. Mr.
Yeah.
Porter, we'll get back to your question here in a little bit. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, no. So this case had 2 little girls and a mom and a dad that all had abilities. And this is not something that people ever talk about, as how it affects family life. Now, one of the girls was to the point that she was seeing things, but they all had empathy so hard. So, I mean, you have to think, girls with hormones plus parents with abilities, it's like a massive fighting ground for everything. So, I mean, it was a lot in their house. And because nobody really ever was taught how to contain it, it became extremely, extremely difficult in the household, to the point that we kind of had to step in to help them before it got too bad.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that house. I mean, even with items that were in there, and plus what their abilities were, how sensitive they were to everything. It was just, it was a lot, but in the end, hopefully we helped them, and it seemed like we have. So that's a plus.
Yeah,
it's a very big plus.
Yeah, and I mean, for them having it to the point where it gets uncontrolled like that, I mean, it can make the situation worse for the other people in the household that have abilities. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Keep reading, Kelly.
Sorry, I'm like reading.
You're gonna have to take those.
I'm like reading all those. I'm sorry. No, I mean, I just felt bad because there were things in that household that were trying to make them believe that it was something sinister and evil, so that it would let something sinister and evil in. But the cool thing is that the dad of the family just kind of knew something wasn't right. And just didn't know what was going on. So him using that empathy in a good way to be like, the vibe's off, it actually really helped save his family before it got too terrible.
Yeah, and just talking about that, the whole misleading families thing too is very crucial, because we do have, I mean, the community, as far as the paranormal community, has grown a lot. There's so many people out there who are doing this just just to see the truth and what's really out there, and then there's some people out there who are trying to help families, but at the same time, trying to help somebody by using your abilities kind of helps. That it doesn't really help the situation because you yourself have not been through. I don't want to say say it like that, but like have not been through the ringer, so to speak. You haven't been to a case that is like super severely. Some things are just effed up in that life in that house to where everything is calm, but what's really going on behind the scenes. I mean, I've been into cases where I thought that I had to call CPS. I mean, it's unless you've been into every situation. I don't want to say every situation, but unless you've been into like those types of situations, you really have to take a step back and really learn about yourself, learn about the field, because residential cases compared to just going to haunted locations is totally different. Very, very, very different. Families are wanting help. They are needing help because there is something super, super wrong going on in the house. Either kids being attacked, parents being attacked. One of the cases I had, I mean, even involved like a young girl getting told by something to drink oil and gasoline. It's that type of stuff. So,
did she do it?
She done it once, and they had to take her to the
Jesus Christ.
the emergency room. Yeah. I mean, but she was young, and I mean, what you can't. I mean, what's a parent to do? Hey, hey, mom, I'm gonna go outside, and then they're out there and watch out there playing. There's other things out there with her, and they're whispering in her ears because how sensitive she is, and ultimately, we had to do, a couple of minor rights on the whole entire family, So.
Well, my sister, without any help, actually ate a light bulb once. She's not with us no more, bless her, but she did that without any help from spirits. I was in car with her when she did it too.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh! I think the other thing about this too, and Rob, this is going to answer your question about chemical dependency. So people that have had drug addictions or are currently going through drug addictions, when they start coming down off of whatever they're taking, a lot of times they feel like their floodgates have basically been opened. Like they're noticing all these things and all these whispers and knocks and sounds sound paranormal. So for me, like one of the classes that like I'm required to take is like a health psychology class. So how do drugs basically affect the brain and how brain chemistry works? So like John was saying earlier, like people will use like drugs and alcohol to basically numb that stimulation that they're feeling all the time. So sometimes we get calls on cases of people that are overcoming a drug addiction, and now suddenly they're hearing everything, knocks, bangs, cracks, whatever. And I feel like it's a hard case to really explain, because depending on how long they've been apart, done drugs, done alcohol and stuff, I mean, their brain chemically is so messed up, for better words, because they're now, to function, they depend on that drug that they no longer have. It's really, really shitty, and it sucks. I've seen people with complete alcohol addiction to the point they're like, they've had testing done, there's nothing left for the brain to do, and all they do is hallucinate all day. Yes. So for some of these people, they hit that hallucination phase because they've gone through so many days of withdrawal. They've gone through so many, whatever. And it really, really sucks. But it does play a very large part. Even like over-the-counter medications can have weird reactions with people, prescribed medications. I mean, it's just one of those things. So.
All right. So moving on. What's next on there?
Can I go for that one? All right. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Are you going to tell us about your new item?
Oh yeah.
We're at that part.
Oh, right.
So hey, can we see it?
I have it wrapped up, so I don't know if.
Dang it! But I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead. Then. You want to talk about it?
No, you can talk about it.
Are we talking about the same one, and not the newest one?
The same one.
The same one.
The bad one.
So there is a friend of ours who recently purchased a sword from 1802 or
62. 1862.
1862. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they purchased because they are collectors. So once it got into the house, there was so many things that were going on within that house, from things breaking, shadow figures, mood changes with everybody. It was just causing chaos. It got to the point to where she reached out to us and was like, "Hey, can you guys check to see if there's anything with this item or not, with this sword or not?" So I said, "Yeah, bring it over. Let's check it out." So she brings it over. We put it in the spooky room. They go back, all this other stuff. Wow, things are calm over there. Over here, things are just going crazy. Our refrigerator breaks. Some bad news happened to the family. I mean, you name it, everything and anything was happening. So we literally got to the point where we're like, you know what, we need to bind this thing and put it in a safe place. Not too long after that, she reached out again. She was like, you know what, you guys can keep that. So we kept it because they saw the big difference on what was, versus her house versus our house, and the stores, everything just seemed to. And I mean, I tell you, as soon as there was even a guy who I know, his name's Mickey White. He was like, he's also very sensitive, and he was like, supposedly it's haunted, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, why don't you just bring it to me? Let me check it out. He wanted to check out the date and everything like that because he is a big collector in Civil War and World War II stuff. So he has all those items. And I literally brought it to him and barely put it in his hand. I was like, here you go, sir, check it out. And as soon as he touched it, he was like, nope. He got a severe headache. He was just like, I don't want none of this. And he went from like, yeah, I want to buy it, to like, no, okay, put it back in this case. And we had to seal it back up and bind it all over again. So we brought it over here. So it's literally in, I mean, it's wrapped up, but it's in the very back of everything. But yeah, between that one and the Japanese death shrine, man, they're at very, very, very close even on what they can do. The death shrine, though, I mean, that one goes after you physically. Like the stories with that one and what I've seen, that one can harm you physically. The sword, it goes after you in your pocket. It's an expensive ghost that lives in there.
I'm with Blake. Have we got any history on who used to own the sword or any of history of it?
So the only thing that I know is the person. I'm not going to say her name because I just don't want her name to be out there. But they got it off of an auction or something like that. So I believe it was probably like an estate sale, like where they usually go for stuff like that. But that's all I really know. I was told that it was used during the Freedom Wars or something. There was something specific in 1862 that happened. It was like a mini type of, what is that? Strobe light. It's like going off here. But a mini type of war that was happening in 1862, which way they called it.
Was it the Spanish War?
I don't know.
Is that when the Brits came over and burnt your White House down? I don't.
You need.
I don't know what. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's the Spanish War you're talking about, dude. Let me do some googling real quick. Yeah. But do you know if it's commemorative or if it's an actual battle sword?
It was an actual battle sword.
Oh, okay. So it's cavalry then, right? Cavalry, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. That's I mean, really the cool. next time that you come to the house, I mean, we'll spring it open, but it was just, all the stuff that's been happening since it arrived here. I mean, it's just like, okay, well, we need to take this guy a little bit more serious. So.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
He's wrapped up.
It was the American Civil War.
I was like the Spanish War.
1861 to 1865.
I got you. Yeah.
That's why I did some Googling.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. So I mean, along with that one, and what else have we got that's new? I mean, we got a lot of stuff that just we literally picked up or just from cases. I mean, we got probably like at least 3 to 4 things new since you've been here. So
Oh well, that I'm looking forward to.
yeah,
Now. I'm looking forward to seeing the sword.
yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome. It's actually pretty awesome, but you know, it's that sucker's expensive.
Well, what's funny is that your light's been playing up tonight. Like,
yeah,
you turned it on. It's weird.
Yeah, and I fully charged it. It's like 100%. I don't know why it's acting like a bone.
You didn't bind that sword that well, dude.
It could be the other one that I bind it today. It's a little doll about this big.
We're gonna have to do like a special episode one day where you just bring all your stuff out and show everybody.
Oh my god!
I'll just sit in the room.
I don't know if you could sit in that room. I've been in that room.
Oh man, I slept in it before one time.
I had to figure out how to close everything down over at your house. It was crazy. Can I sit there? Is it haunted? Am I good?
Not everything we have is on it, just most of it.
Hey, I had a very strange. I'm sorry to go off topic real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I had a very strange experience the other night.
Okay.
It was 2:00 in the morning,
mm-hmm.
and I'm fast on, and I'm normally like a pretty heavy sleeper, and nothing ever wakes me up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got a little button, and it says, "This is total bullshit," and you press it, and it's like, "This is bullshit." You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me show you a demonstration of it real quick. Fucking hell, I almost fell over.
Please don't die.
So, I'm asleep. I literally did just fall off of my own feet. So this, and it's on like the like a bookshelf I've got in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And this is bullshit. And I'm like looking, and I'm like, did you just hear? Amanda's normally like deep, like a light sleeper, so she normally is everything, right?
Yeah.
And I said, did you just hear that? She said, no, I didn't hear anything. I'm like, I just definitely heard that button get pressed. Now, the thing is, that came off a friend that runs a paranormal team.
Oh, really?
And that's one of the tools they use to see if they can get, like... Anyway, it was a weird-ass fucking situation.
Huh.
Yeah, weird.
That's weird.
Blake, are you going to bring out on investigation? Not the sword, but we do bring out our haunted doll, Curly Sue, out to our first Friday.
I mean, if you want to see Curly Sue, she's like right there.
Yeah.
I think I've seen Curly Sue.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody else has.
Wasn't she there at the Day of the Dead thing in Temple?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've definitely seen her.
Let me get her real quick.
It's a him, but okay.
I would say her.
I know.
I mean, it's a weird name to have if it's a him.
The only reason that we call it Curly Sue is because that was like the the toy name when we got it. And so we kept, like, we did a spirit box session with it one night just to see if it wanted to pick its name. And we're like, because everything in our house has names. So we're like, well, what do you want to be called? And it wouldn't give us like an answer. So finally we said, well, we're just going to call you Curly Sue. And so it just goes Sue. And so now its name is Curly Sue.
It's Curly Sue.
Yeah.
Curly Sue, this is the world.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Curly Sue came from a house in Dallas. They were cleaning it out so it could be renovated. And so they put Curly Sue inside of a trash bag and put him out on the porch. And when they came back to go inside the house, Curly Sue was not in the porch any longer. He was sitting in the middle of the house. So somebody decided that they wanted to take it and put it home. So they wanted to take him home. We said, cool. She got it there the first night, like nothing happened. It was all quiet and everything. And then right after that, the next night she said that she heard so many like footsteps And then she heard a really loud thud, and she got up because her living room is like right next to her bedroom. When she got up to go to the bed, like out of her bedroom, the doll was like sitting in her doorway. So she's like, nope, I don't want it anymore. There's a lot more to that story that's crazy, but I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. We've never had anything happen with them, so I don't know.
All right, so you want to answer Blake, and then after Blake, we'll announce the tour locations
Hell yeah.
announcements.
What's Blake say? Okay, right before I go to sleep, I see different images of people. Can you explain that to me and why it happens?
Yeah. I'll give my take on it, and you give your take?
Yeah.
So for me, I would say because you are getting ready to go to sleep and your guard is down, like all this stuff just start coming to you. That would be my take. You know, that's, I mean,
I have a slightly different take.
Okay,
I do too.
Go for it.
I'll let you go first because I think we might be on the same page.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was, there are your brain has a thing when it's winding down, that it memorizes faces. So like people that you see during the day pops up in your dreams. So usually if you're watching like TV or something, there's a whole bunch of random faces. So that might be your brain's way of like decompressing, maybe, would be my thought. So you're just like seeing all of these images and stuff. Some people with like ADHD and stuff have that a lot. Or if you have really bad insomnia when their brain just can't quite shut down, it just is like, let's play a picture show, and then it does that.
Okay, so my take on it is slightly different, but I'm with you two though. When I was in training for what I do now, when you're half asleep, would you not call that a meditative state?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the way I was learned how to communicate with spirits is through meditation, and that's how I met my first spirit guide. So it makes me wonder if he's like in a semi-meditated state, and that's why he's seeing one or two faces. And especially if you ain't got that door closed as well. If you don't close that door between the spirit realm and yourself, like myself, I'm turned off right now. And before, when I was still learning, before I went to sleep, I had that same experience as Blake did. So that's why I have a slightly different take on it. But but I'm with you too as well. So it depends how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's whatever ability that you may have, whatever is the highest of the sensitivity levels of one of them, it seems to be the one that comes more when you're just relaxed. You know,
right?
I hear more than anything else. So like whenever it was where I couldn't control it, and I would wind down, all I hear was just whispers all the time. When I see him, it only comes in every once in a while, but when it does, it's like a quick flash, and I'll be able to see it. But it's almost like an imprint, and I can actually remember what I seen. But like I said, when I started with my abilities, it just seemed like it was more often than not just hearing voices and all that other stuff. So
when you relaxed,
yeah, when I was relaxing,
yeah,
chilling like a dog.
That's how I was learned how to own my skills that I've got is basically just relax.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah.
All right, so let's get to the next thing. Whoa, almost lost my stuff.
You ready for me to show your little picture?
Yes, show my little picture.
All right, let's do this.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. What the
That
hell
was really
is
loud
that?
for anybody that had headphones in. I'm sorry.
That's close.
Oh my god.
I had to bring out the cock.
Oh yeah, oh god.
Wherever he's at, he's right there. On my shoulder. Yeah, so here are the tours that we got coming up. So we're going to be at the Bookseller again this year. We also got Bartlett, which we did for the first time last year, and it was a pretty good turnout. Bartlett, we did like 3 buildings in one night, so everybody got to see a little bit of everything. Also, the new one is the American Scare Grounds in Elmont. So that one is the big one, simply because there is a lot of things out there going on, but I am not going to tell you until we get out there, because I want everybody to go out there and experience it for themselves. So we are still coming up with dates. So those three are going to be the big ones. We only limited it to like maybe I'm probably going to have one more location on there maybe, but last year we overwhelmed ourselves with so many. It was like September, October. We literally had every weekend of like just paranormal tours mixed in with our actual residentials, that it got too overwhelming too quick. So this year we decided, we're just going to do probably like maybe twice a month in September, October, and maybe a couple in November, but that's about it. So we didn't want to overwhelm ourselves this year, but we are going to have some paranormal classes as well if anybody is interested in that. These are going to be at the Salado Library in Salado, Texas. We're also going to have a teens class as well. We got a lot of people who are interested in that for their teens. And when we actually do these classes, we talk about everything as far as, the basic stuff that you need to know versus also the dangers of all this, So a lot of people don't really talk about that, but we try to educate everything that's very positive to this stuff to everything that is very negative to this stuff and what's all in between, So we leave no stone uncovered, so to speak. And then the new one, the one that I really like because I like to talk a lot, is because is all the stories that we have to share, So we're going to be doing the spooky stories. I believe that's going to be in August, and pretty much what we're going to talk about and share is stories that happen to us on investigations, personal life, things that scared us, paranormal, natural, anything unexplained. So pretty much that's what we're going to be using the spooky stories for. So one that I really like because I like just check it out when we start releasing the dates on our Facebook page. So it's going to be exciting.
I can't wait.
You sound.
I'm open. I'm going to be able to get out for some of this stuff.
Yeah, you got to for the Elmont, the American Scareground one. That is. That's going to be an awesome one.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot of things coming up for that for this year on this year for that type of stuff. So probably not looking at what's next. So you guys can end it here. We got about 5 minutes. I know there's some things that we need to get taken care of. So let's go ahead and get the last 5 minutes out of the way.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
You're the host.
Oh, I know. I was just gonna say, I can't wait for the. I'm gonna try and get to the tan one. What's it called again?
Bartlett,
because you told me some good stuff about Bartlett.
Yeah, there's some crazy things in there.
Don't you get like multiple places you can go through? And
investigate? So if everything still is the same as last year, then we got 3 buildings to do in one night. So it's almost it's pretty much all of downtown Bartlett that we get to do. So I mean, there's the old jail, there was the old funeral home, and there's a car dealership as well. That kind of, it was very what's the word I'm looking for? It was very interesting what happened there, because there's a lot of mystery in that building because there's like no electricity at all inside that building, but yet there was some high EMFs. There was a lot of spikes that made it seem like there was a lot of electricity.
Is that the car dealership you're talking about?
Yeah, and it's completely gutted. I mean, there's not even a freaking roof.
Well, I can speak from experience. Just think of all the energy that runs through that car, or that's been through that car dealership, because your car salesmen and that, they're always like, it's constant energy. You're always doing something there. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a mechanic or something like that. So there's probably a hell of a lot of residual stuff out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this lady here will tell you a lot about it because she helped me a little bit with getting into some of the buildings, and she used to work for Bartlett as well, so she has a lot of stories about that place. I think she even got attacked one time when we were at the old church because she had the.
Oh God!
It was pretty funny because we went to investigate this old church over there in Bartlett, which I think Jordyn knows what I'm talking about. It's a bed and breakfast now, but she was outside in the car, and she had this I don't forgot what it was. It was like some type of app, and every time that the energy would get close, it would go beep, beep, beep. So like whatever this thing was at the church, and it was proclaiming that it was something demonic and all this other stuff. And the more that it started saying the demon word, her app was going deep, 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 deep. It literally got to the point where it was like, and all I heard from the car was, "Get away from me!" I was like, "What in the world is happening over there?" So yeah, wow. She was like, "Yep, don't want to deal with that. Don't want to deal with it." Sorry, Steph, but I had to say it. It was just funny. It was just funny.
That's cool. And the one in Waco. By Waco, yeah. Whatever it's called.
Yeah, so there's I don't want to give too much out because, it is a active working scare grounds during the season and stuff like that. So I don't want to put too much information out there, but I want everybody to go out there in the first place and just kind of experience it for themselves. We've been doing shooting a documentary there as well. So, even if I was to say a little bit what's going on, it kind of ruins the whole NDAs that we all signed and all that other stuff. So I don't want to get too terribly much out there. But yes, if anybody's interested, we just stayed on the lookout on our Facebook page, Dark Explorers Paranormal, and you'll see the events will pop up, and be on the lookout for the Waco Scare Grounds one. That's going to be.
How's my T-shirt coming on? My Spooki Brit.
I have not made it yet.
Oh, dang it.
We've been dealing with other things, man. We got so much stuff.
I know you have, dude. I know you have.
Yeah, but we're going to
keep it light.
We're going to be getting some for this season, so we got to get.
Everyone's got to buy a Spooki Brit T-shirt. It's going to have an American and British flag on it.
We'll try to get them done. I don't know what's left.
No, I think we're about wrapped up. You got anything to say, Jordyn?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, as far as me, I will say the last and final thing that if anybody knows anybody who is experiencing anything, contact us. We will literally go all over the state of Texas. We already got cases coming up, so we might as well just consider ourselves nationwide as well too. So, we got all that coming up. So if anybody has any problems, send people our way. If we have family, friends, anything like that who just need help in general, go to Dark Explorers Paranormal. Look us up.
Yeah, so I want to say thank you to everyone that stayed by us and joined us tonight. Thank you for all the cool questions and all that good stuff. My name's Andy, Spooki Brit. This is JOHN.JOHN, Spooki Boi. And then we got Jordyn, Spooki Girl. Everyone, from us, have a good night. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the 28th. Good night.
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 Bye.